time. Okay, so tonight we're gonna be, hopefully it won't feel all over the place. I think all of these like small topics kind of go with each other and flow into each other, but this was kind of addressing a few people's questions, concerns, feelings that they've been having, because we have a lot of new coaches on here right now. So I sort of just made like, I think I have 4 sections. So we'll just go through it. If I don't get them all done, then we can add on to next week's. But this was kind of just addressing and touching on a little bit of what everybody said. So to preface all of that, so first of all, if you listen to the National Wake Up Call, I know Reagan had mentioned that that was something that helped her this week. And I actually had it, I had listened to about half of it. And then like, I've been so busy this week because we just got back. And so I was like, okay, I need to go back and actually listen to that because I hadn't caught it yet. And I'm so glad that I did, because I'm going to kind of run through not her whole call, but just her first 3 things that she starts her new coaches with, because her whole deal was about like taking baby steps and leading your new coaches to do those baby steps. And I know I feel like I'm doing that, but maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not making it clear. And even if I have said these things, it's what we do, and it's good to be reminded of that. So I know I've said this, but I want you to take these things one at a time. So set yourself, like depending on how fast you want to run or how overwhelmed that you feel right now, like judge where you're at, and then choose one thing every week, every 2 weeks, like set your goal there of how quickly you want to move along with this, and choose these things to add into your week to try, or not even to try, but like to get them in, like set that goal. I'm going to get this in, set it to where it becomes a habit and a part of your routine. And then you can move on and add something else and see how that feels. And maybe that's not overwhelming. So hopefully that makes sense. So, I mean, I would say try to do one thing a week, just because I know all of you guys have goals that you want to hit. And if we make this take too long, you're going to get discouraged and you're going to want to quit, because you're not going to see any results happening because we'll be adding things a little bit too slowly. So, and we'll talk about overwhelm towards the end. But so these baby steps that, I don't even remember what the girl's name was on the call, but on the National Wake Up Call this week, the very first thing she said that she starts her coaches to do is to pick your workout program, do it, and share on social media. And I know I've said that to everybody, because what? Our job is our journey. Our job is exactly what we wanted to do in the first place, whether we started as a customer or a coach, is that we wanted to do these workout programs. And then I've said, like, we just want to naturally share about that. We don't have to overthink it. It doesn't have to be the perfect wording. We don't have to look pretty on the video. Like, I actually set it as a rule for myself that I just don't use filters anymore. I'm not wasting my time on that. I want someone to know that I look the same on the video as I do at home. But anyways, number 1, pick your workout program, do it, and share it on social media. So if that alone, if you're not finding time for that yet, or making that time, that's what you need to focus on. Nothing else. Then part of that is coaching, because you're going to be sharing it. Okay, don't just do the workout, share it. If that means snapping a picture and making your post or putting it on your stories, I would suggest doing both, because obviously there's different audiences for both. But if you're so overwhelmed with all of it, just make your post. Stories can come later. I didn't do stories for like 6 months. I didn't even have an Instagram, so don't worry about it. Just do what you can, okay? So if you haven't even started your workout yet, don't panic. Don't get mad at yourself. Just move forward. Okay, that's what I need to do. Then number 2 was pick out what personal development you're going to be reading or listening to. Again, that's going to be working on your own self-improvement, your self-growth, and that is the kind of things that are going to eventually start bubbling over and helping other people notice and, be attracted to you and give you things to post about and be inspiring. So I don't come up with anything. Everything I write about and talk about is stuff that I've read in books. And again, you don't have to just read a book or you don't have to just read a podcast. Decide what kind of person you are, or do both. But all you have to start with is 10 minutes a day. So if you don't think you have 10 minutes, I challenge you to just think creatively and be like, where can I find that 10 minutes in my day? Because you'll be able to. If you absolutely can't sit down and read, then you definitely need to find a podcast or find an audiobook that you can listen to when you're going to the bathroom or brushing your teeth or fixing dinner. Like, there's so many times in our days, especially as women, that we are like busy, but we're standing around or we're driving in the car. So get creative with your time. You have it in there. You got to find it. Okay. So number 1, workout program. Number 2, personal development. Then number 3, when you feel ready, I would challenge you to do all of these kind of at once because it's all still for you, is go find one person to join you. Not 3, not 5, don't worry about Emerald. Just go find one person to join you and get them to get that same challenge pack that you got. All you have to do is just tell them what you got, explain this is the workout program I'm picking to do. You can come do it with me. That's it. Okay. And in the National Wake Up Call, she talked about the other steps that she does after that. But for today's purposes, that's all I want you to think about. Okay. And if you're doing all 3 of those, and you can go listen to the Wake Up Call and listen to what she says to start doing next. But I thought those were just like, that's exactly what we need to start with. If we're not consistent in our workouts, then what do we have to share about, right? And it's not talking about being perfect and like, oh no, we missed one day, so we can't be a coach. No, it's not like that. But the more that you're doing that and the more that you're fueling yourself, you're just going to feel better, and you're going to be excited to share this with somebody and to find someone else to help and to join you. And there are so many stories out there of people that find that first person, and they literally, I don't want to say beg, but they literally say like, I need help. Like, can you help me out and join me? I just need to get started with my business, or find your own way to say it. Lots of people do that, and it's usually a family member or somebody that you know. So don't be afraid to say that, and don't feel like you have to go find like this one special person. Just start talking to people and find one person to join you. All right. So I know Reagan's questions had to do with who to invite. And I had sent you guys a video because inviting is like its own call. And so hopefully you can find time to listen to that entire call, and we can always talk about it again. But I did have just a few bullet points here to address quickly, like kind of your worries. So she was kind of worried about, like, she isn't sure if she thinks these people want to join, like you feel like maybe it's not their thing, and so you don't want to ask them. Or also, we all have that feeling of like not wanting to be rejected or hear the word no. That can be its own call also. But and then the other thing was she felt like she knows a lot of them wouldn't be able to afford it, or they'll tell her that she doesn't have the money. So we all hear these, and a lot of times they are true, but we can still learn and find ways of how to respond to them so that we can give them ideas and give them power, so that they don't feel like that's it, like they can never join because they don't have the money right now, right? So first of all, we cannot be the judge for them if this is right for them. Us inviting is just planting a seed, and you'll hear that said over and over and over and everywhere, but that is what inviting is. So they probably aren't going to say yes the first time. Sometimes you might get lucky, but most of the time people need to hear that. I don't even know how many times, 7 times. Sometimes it just depends on the person, but plant that seed. So don't judge if you think that they absolutely won't like that, because you really don't know who needs this, who wants this, who's actually sitting at home like, watching you and, super jealous or worried that they can't do it, or comparing themselves, or wishing that they had the guts to ask you. So don't be the judge, just plant the seed and send them the invite. And if they say no, no worries. It's not right now, or they don't, they're not ready. Probably eventually at some point they're going to join you, because they're going to see how amazing, you're enjoying your journey and your results and everything like that. I guess that's kind of the same thing. I said not being afraid that they won't want to or need to. So that's kind of the same thing, but send that invite and don't have the fear holding you back that they might say no. Maybe with a positive attitude, expect that they'll say no so that you don't feel let down, but also expect that, have that confidence that this is going to be good for them, and still send the invite anyway and just plant that seed. So as far as addressing the money, I always give ideas. Like, I literally got told this a couple times yesterday, that I just don't have the money right now. And especially the holidays coming up, you're going to hear that probably even more, because people are buying presents and doing all these things. And most people don't even want to think about their health until January 1st. So that's going to be really normal. And these can be challenging months to come into, but I've also had some really successful Novembers and Decembers. So don't let that deter you either. But you can give them ideas, because I tell them, I'm like, okay, well, where there's a will, there's a way. I say that all the time. And I'm like, you can ask for this for your Christmas present. And one lady is like, oh, that's such a good idea, I'm going to do that. But people don't think about it like that. They just think like they have to sign up right now because you're asking them, almost like they think there's no other chance. And I tell them, I'm here forever. I'm not going anywhere. So let me know when you're ready. And then I still put them on my list to invite them the next month and the next month. But another way is I'll say, like, how much money do you think you can hold back from each paycheck? Or, or do you have something? At one time I had a girl sell, she had I don't remember, like an Apple Watch and something laying around her house that she didn't use anymore. She sold it and bought her challenge pack. So those are people that didn't have the money, but they still made a way and made it happen because they wanted it bad enough. And I knew her goals, and I knew she knew this was going to help her. And so it's really a matter of us kind of just instilling that power and that belief in them, and showing them how much we believe in this, so that they realize they can do it. And I have a whole nother call on objections and how to answer lots of different ones, but that's just kind of a quick one with actual money. Sometimes another one that I'll say is well, let's get you coaching. It's very possible to sign up 3 people in your first month and pay for that challenge pack. Yes, you would have to put it on your credit card right away, but all the more motivation, right, to try to go find those 3 people. So those are just some ways. And it can feel, I know, especially at the beginning, at first, it can feel really scary to say those things back after someone's already said no. But again, a lot of times it's just because it's almost like this one-track mind, or and a lot of people maybe aren't good at budgeting or with their finances, and so they don't even, maybe they have the money and they don't realize it. So a lot of it is just us giving them, again, that belief and that power. I just keep saying those words, that it is possible for them to make this happen. Maybe it won't be this month. That's okay. You want to help them no matter what month it is. You're not just trying to scramble and get some people signed up. Don't let them feel that from you. So, okay, so hopefully that helped a little bit with that. And then my last 2 kind of topics, hopefully this is flowing together a little bit, is covering this is kind of a lump: overwhelm, stress, being shy, being nervous, worried, all of those things. And then, so I'll cover that. And then the last one is talking about staying motivated. So as far as feeling overwhelm, stress, anxiety, being shy, feeling nervous to send, to send something, maybe you feel overwhelmed with just starting your workouts or keeping up with just like the customer side of things, like drinking your shake in your workout and learning the nutrition. Again, first of all, go back to those baby steps. Just do the workout and share about it. Okay, just start there. Don't worry about the nutrition yet. You can add that later. And these are also things that you can teach your customers eventually too, right? But I feel like all of those things are real legit feelings. I feel them too. I literally felt like it yesterday. Like I have highs and lows every single week without fail. You might not can tell it on my stories, but like a lot of mornings I go downstairs and I sit on the couch and I'm like, I don't want to work again today. There's sometimes just this feeling. And it's a real feeling, but it's actually our choice whether we're going to sit in that feeling or how we're going to get ourselves out of it and move forward. And some of that's going to come from your growth, from that personal development. Actually, a lot of it's going to come from that. And that's going to teach us sort of how to coach ourselves and how to pull ourselves out of those times. Or sometimes we can't pull ourselves out, but we can still show up even with those feelings. And like, again, I could make a whole nother call on all kinds of like life things that have happened. Most of you, like you guys don't even know, because things that happened like in my first year of coaching that were so challenging, most people would have quit, and it would have probably been like, again, like it was legit things that were happening in my life and my marriage and things that like I was not in an emotional state to really focus on coaching. But somehow, like I look back and I don't know how, but I found a way to still lean into the job. And, you know, like maybe I didn't crush it and hit all my goals those months, but like I found a way to lean into it in order to help myself, in order to stay accountable still. And then I still did the sharing. So maybe I didn't do everything in that season of my life, but I made a choice that I wasn't just going to stay there or to quit coaching or, you know, whatever, or put it on the back burner until I was out of that season. And so I challenge you with what, if you're feeling any of those things, because I know overwhelm, especially when you're new, like you can come in and like, it feels like there's so many things. And there is a lot right now, especially because we've had all these launches and like the bike and body, and now we have a new workout coming out and we had 645 coming out. And it's just like, and sometimes I remember feeling overwhelmed just being added to all these team pages and where's that group out? What's the app for? And oh, I forgot to log my shake, you know? So I get that. But again, just go back to that baby steps, make a choice that it's okay to not do everything, but you're going to be proactive to add one thing as you can, a week, every 2 weeks, something like that. Okay, I get going and then I'm like, let me make sure I said what I wanted to say. But again, your journey comes first. So get some Energize. If you can't have Energize like I can, like turn up some exciting music, turn on your favorite song, go do your workout. Like don't even worry about coaching. I seriously still do this. Like I'll do my work first and then I go to my workout. But a lot of times, like I don't have my energy or I don't go on to stories and start talking until I'm getting ready to work out or I've done my workout. Why? Because it makes me feel good and it makes me happy, and afterwards I feel so much better and a lot of that anxiety is gone. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, I can do this, or I'm excited and I want to share about it because I feel good. So just go to your workout, drink your Energize, and then sit down and let's make a plan. And so another example, Cindy, she's not on here tonight. She's having like back problems and stuff, but Cindy was feeling really overwhelmed and she has a very busy schedule. Everybody's busy, right? And I guess I don't need to explain her schedule, but she goes to work super early in the morning already, like not unusually early, and then has things going all, you know, as soon as she gets home. And she literally made an hour by hour schedule. And I actually did this too, and I stay at home all day. And it's not always perfect, but but she sat down and wrote it out. This is when I'm waking up. This is when I'm doing my workout. Then I'll be at work from these times. This is when I'm going to drink my shake. And it wasn't even all coaching stuff, but she was prioritizing those things, her journey first, and sharing a little bit of that on her stories. So sometimes it might sound crazy, or like maybe you don't like, I know I have a friend who like doesn't want to have a schedule and doesn't want to be organized. But if you're feeling those things, maybe all you need to do is just write them down or make the list. Maybe you don't even need to really follow the list. Sometimes it's just like jotting it all out helps it clear up in your brain, so it's not all jumbled and you don't feel crazy. And I know for me, like I'll make a list every morning of what I have, like housework stuff, even though like I already know what I do, pretty much do the same things every day. I'll make the list so that it just feels like the chaos comes down, and then I'm like, okay, that's actually not that many things. There's only like 3 things on the list. I can do that today. So that hopefully maybe can help you, or, you know, getting out a calendar and just getting organized, making a plan, even if that plan like is just so simple. Don't be afraid to do that. And what else did I say right now? Oh, remember your why, because we can get so worked up and so overwhelmed, and I do this too, or I'll see my big goals and think I'm nowhere close to them, and we have like, I don't know how many weeks left of the year, but why did I actually start? I mean, yes, I want to hit those goals, or yes, you know, I felt overwhelmed before, but I started for my own accountability. I started for the community, and I wanted to help other women also in coaching. And so maybe your why might be different than that, but remember it. Sit down, write it down, tell it to yourself, and then start learning to coach yourself through that. And also leaning on us, or maybe you just need to say, like, I'm feeling these things and we can help you work through it. So, okay, last thing, I'm like almost out of time, but how to stay motivated. And motivated, I feel like, I don't know, I have like mixed emotions about the word motivation because I hear it so many times, or I hear, you know, people that don't want to get started, or people from the challenge group, or myself, that, oh, I don't have the motivation today, or, you know, we've all said it. And so I'm not calling anyone out, because I literally said it, like, I'm not motivated to cook dinner tonight. I said it a little bit ago. But we have to maybe get rid of that word a little bit when it comes to our health journey and to coaching, because we're not always going to feel the motivation. And that's where the discipline kicks in. And so if you're not building the discipline by doing the daily habits, then like you won't have it to kick in, but you can teach yourself to be disciplined. So again, remember why you started. If you're not feeling motivated, or you're feeling overwhelmed or depressed, or like you don't want to do this today, remember why you started, you know, and why are you doing this? Who are you doing this for? What do you want to get out of it? You know, if the big goals scare you right now, like, what is the one goal that you want to get done today? And remind yourself that. And a lot of times, like, it'll pull you out, maybe not all the way, but it'll pull you out enough to get your workout, or to get your workout done, to go send those invites and not worry about being scared. And so the other thing that I have been doing a lot, because like my husband's struggling a lot and not wanting to go to work, and I mean, everyone does that at, you know, times, and he's not happy at his job and stuff, is that he still has to go to work, and he still has to get up with his alarm. And so some of you have jobs, I don't. So I still have to tell myself in my head, like, it's not an option for me to sleep in today, because I have work to do. And you know, like, and then I have homeschool, and then I have kids and all these things. So I go through my head of like, if I skip this, what are the consequences? Again, this goes so well with anything, you know, and you could teach it to your customers. But yeah, it does work. So, oh, Reagan, I didn't see that you're, maybe say hey, Joyce. Oh, perfect. Sorry, Reagan, I didn't see your chat earlier. But yeah, well, yeah, it is work, but it takes that discipline. And so I've just been saying, like, if he has to go to work and he has to show up, you know, like, then this is my job too. I just don't have a boss that will fire me if I don't do it, right? And that is the hardest part, is it's not hard. The tasks aren't hard. It's just hard to get yourself to do it. Okay. The other thing that I'm constantly learning to do myself is to lean into our team, lean into Dare to Dream, lean into Team Radiance, lean into the BOD group. Like, all of them would be great, but whichever area maybe that you're struggling with, I'm always here for personal messages. We have our coach like message thread that you can go in, because a lot of times you're not the only one struggling. And so if other people see that, and the closer knit that we can be to help each other with whatever those problems are, then the more that we can like kind of move on. Because a lot of times, I know for me, if I just tell someone I'm having a bad day, or like tell them what I'm stressed out about, a lot of it just goes away and then I'm fine. I don't know if you guys are like that. I'm like major external processor, so it helps me a lot. But so a lot of times just like talking it out or journaling, something like that, just gets it out of your head, and then you're like, okay, it's fine, I can move on. But learn to lean in. And also, like I wrote in, Dare to Dream is doing the winter games right now. I've tagged everybody, but if you're still not sure what it is, I can tag you again. But it's literally just like motivation to work your business, and she will give you prizes. Like, it doesn't get better than that. And at first there were only 7 people on the list, and there was top 10 prizes. So I'm like, we will all get a prize just for putting our name on the list. I think there's more now, because I was like, people need to put their name on the list. I need a little competition here. But lean into those things, like I'm doing that because like it's hard to work in November and December over the holidays, and I don't feel good, and I had family here, and we went to Hawaii. Like, I've been all over the place. It would be really easy to have taken all of those weeks off. And like some of it this week felt a little bit lighter, that's okay. We have that flexibility. But use those things that the coaches put on to motivate yourself. Even if you like are pretty sure you won't win the top 10 prize, so what? Use that as a motivation. For one, you never know, but 2, just like push yourself. And if you have goals this month, then use that to be like, I will push myself and I will get as far as I can go, even if I don't hit the goal. And then 2 more things. It's like time to go, but going back to that personal development. And this took me a long time, and it's still a struggle sometimes, because sometimes, we know what we need to do, but we just like also want to be a little kid about it and not do it, or just like be self-destructive. Maybe I'm the only one that feels like that. But so a lot of times I'll just, even if I'm hungry, sometimes I'm like, I know I need to eat, but I just don't want to. And I'm just going to get hungrier and hungrier. But with personal development, like I always do my little bit in the morning, right? 10 or 15 minutes. But a lot of days when I'm feeling low or depressed or uninspired, unmotivated, I need to go listen to a podcast. I need to go listen to something that's going to like lift me up. Maybe it's just music that day. But lean into that personal development. And again, it's something that we have to coach ourselves and make ourselves go do it. And so that's the hard part, is that no one's going to make us. But if you lean into the team, tell us you're having a hard time. We can also maybe suggest something that we just listened to that helped us a lot. And so we can give each other ideas that way. And then the last thing is keep showing up in the BOD group and seeing other people log. This is, I've been like, because it's been busy, I've been like off schedule, but I normally sit down. I do it first thing in the morning, and then I sit down midway through the day and sometimes in the evening to catch up and check into our BOD group. and I go down the list, and I see everybody that posted, and logged their workout for the day. And it's just the simplest thing, but it lights my soul on fire, because that's why I started doing this. And it reminds me of that. I'm like I literally am getting tears in my eyes. And I see their smiles, and I see like what they overcame that day. And maybe you don't have any clients yet, but you're in my bod group. So go do that and pretend like they're your clients, or just see them working out if you're struggling just to do your workout. And just go be the best challenger in that group that you can be. And the more that you start cheering for others, and commenting and encouraging them, the more energy it gives you, and also the more motivation that you'll want to go do your workout. So, all right, that was like maybe a lot and kind of all over the place, but hopefully that kind of addressed a few things. Next week, I actually want to talk about bod groups and running your bod group, especially since that wake up call she talked about, she starts every coach just starting their own. I don't want anyone to freak out, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it tonight, but I just want you to know I'm going to be talking about bod groups next week, and then we'll have Thanksgiving, so we won't have a call the next week, and then we'll be into December. So hopefully that helps. Oh, I'd love to get a picture if I can. Let me stop the recording.